Hi everyone, I'm Ajit Khan. I'm AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate and also Certified Kubernetes Administrator. Just like I have a very successful CKA playlist for CKA exam, I have come up with another series for AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate exam. And in this series, I'm going to cover concepts and various questions based on scenarios that actually comes in the exam. So without waiting much, let's get started. Let us understand what is AWS. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services and it serves as a cloud provider. They provide you with servers and services that you can use on demand and scale quite easily. Over the time, AWS has changed the landscape of IT. Initially, people used to have their application hosted on data centers and things were quite manual to manage those servers. With AWS, it has given a lot of flexibility and automation to host your application. AWS empowers some of the largest websites globally, for example, the Amazon website itself, be it amazon.in or amazon.com or any other Amazon website, and very popular Netflix. Let's initiate your AWS journey. History of AWS is quite like a roller coaster ride. In 2002, they internally launched AWS, and in 2003, Amazon infrastructure is one of their core strengths. In 2004, they launched it publicly with the service SQS. And in 2006, Amazon relaunched publicly with SQS, S3 and EC2 services. Then it launched itself in Europe in 2007. And now they have various services available and they are empowering many big players in the market like Dropbox, Airbnb, Netflix and whatnot. In 2019, AWS had $35 billion in annual revenue. AWS accounts for 47% of the market in 2019. Microsoft is the second with 22%. AWS has been pioneer and leader of the cloud market for many consecutive years and there are more than 10 lakhs active users. Let's understand how AWS global infrastructure looks like. AWS has regions, then AWS has availability zones among regions. The availability zones and regions together comprises and known as data centers. AWS edge locations or point of presence is the places where CDNs of AWS are placed and it caches the data for faster delivery and better user experience. So as you can see, the blue circle here represents regions and the yellow one represents the one which they are about to launch. So as you can see, they have Oregon region, they have Ireland, Paris, they have Europe region, they have Mumbai region and Hyderabad is also there. They have Singapore region and so on. So as you can see, they have quite a global infrastructure present. Now let us understand region. AWS has regions all around the world. The name of the regions are like US East 1, EU West 3. This is how they name it. For example, US East 2 and the region name is Ohio. US East 1, it is North Virginia. Within US and within US East, they have two, Ohio and North Virginia, which is why they have named it 1 and 2. Similarly, they have in West, so US West 1 and 2. These are like code and they have name like US East, US West and with the proper name Ohio, North Virginia, California, Oregon, etc. So what is a region? A region is a cluster of data centers because ultimately all servers are located somewhere at some physical location. That's what they call as data centers, and those cluster of data center within a close place is known as region. AWS has many services and most of the AWS services are region scoped. We will see what exactly region scoped means when we will have tour of AWS dashboard. Now as we have seen, there are many regions all around the globe. How to choose an AWS region? So there could be various factors on the basis of which you can decide which region you want to choose. One of them could be adherence to data governance and legal mandate. So data remains within a region only with your explicit authorization. So if this is your requirement, you cannot share data to some other regions or you cannot host the data due to legal or governance issue or some policies from government. then you should select the region where it is allowed. Second point could be customer proximity. Suppose your customers are based out of Singapore and you want better experience and minimal latency for them, then you can choose Singapore region to host your application. Third thing could be services within a region. Not all regions have all new services and features available. So if you would like to use certain services which are available in specific regions, then you should go for that region. Last thing could be pricing. Price fluctuates across regions and are clearly outlined on the services pricing page. So if you need to launch a new application, you should select the AWS region based on these points. So now we have chosen a region. Now let us understand what is AWS availability zones. So every region comprises multiple availability zones, usually 3, minimum is 2 and maximum is 6. For example, the region App Southeast has 3 availability zones called App Southeast 2A, App Southeast 2B, App Southeast 2C. Each availability zones comprise one or more distinct data center equipped with redundant power, networking and connectivity. So App Southeast is a region and there could be multiple physical buildings which will be ultimately your data center, and they are physically separated because just in case if one building collapses due to any disaster, then you will have the other building. So this building, that is the data center, is known as the availability zone. They are not quite close to each other. So this is what availability zones means. They are connected with high bandwidth, ultra low latency networking. So in the diagram, as you can see, this box represents AWS region. Then within that, they can have multiple availability zones and they are all connected with high bandwidth, ultra low latency networking. Now let's talk about AWS points of presence, that is edge locations. Amazon boasts 216 points of presence and 205 edge location and 11 regional caches distributed across 84 cities in 42 countries. Content is distributed to end users with reduced latency. Let's understand what is edge location is. AWS have edge locations. Edge locations means their content delivery network at a particular location is present to serve your website through caching. So suppose your main application is hosted in Mumbai, but your users are also present across Singapore or US, then you can create CDN or edge locations so that in US edge location, your content will be cached and user will have a better experience accessing your website. Now let's explore the AWS console tool. AWS has global services or region scoped services. There are few global services like Identity and Access Management known as IAM, Route 53 which is the DNS service, CloudFront which is Content Delivery Network, WAF, Web Application Firewall. These are certain global services. Most of the AWS services are region scoped. For example, Amazon EC2, Elastic Beanstalk, Lambda, Recognition, etc. Now let's have a quick tour of AWS console. So this is my AWS dashboard, and here on the top right you can see this is my account. These are my account details, and just next to it we have regions. So as you can see, the current selected region is US East, North Virginia, and then there are many regions listed out here. So I have selected North Virginia and it will open all the resources belonging to this particular region. For example, if I want to select EC2, I can go here and it will open the EC2 dashboard for me. On the top left corner you see services. If you click on it, it will list all the services that AWS offers. You can search a particular service like DBMS, Database Migration Service. So these are the instances that are present in this particular region. If I select US East 2, then I won't see these instances because these belongs to US East 1. So as you can see, there are no instances in this region. Let's go back to US East 1, and this is one of my server, and as you can see, this is being created in availability zone US East 1A. In fact, all of these three are created within availability zone 1A. So this is it for this video. See you in the next one.